Hi everybody and welcome to the Toon Review. My name's Paul. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. I wanted to have a chat with you guys today regarding what it says on the headline there. Are we as Newcastle United fans expecting too much this season? Or because of what's happened since the takeover? Now, I'm not putting every fan in this bracket, but I think the majority of us, sat down at the start of this season and looking at the signings and things like that, we were thinking big things for Newcastle. Maybe a cup win, or certainly challenging in the top four again, or doing well in Europe, etc. And that's understandable, because we looked really good on the pitch last season. But it doesn't always work like that, does it? Take away the horrible, rubbish comments you've seen on social media, etc. over the weekend after losing to Brighton, okay? Because I just think they're fair weather fans that come on and say, oh, Eddie Howe out, and, these players this, these players that. When we do match reviews on this show, okay, it is simply based on that match itself. We are player rating those players. But does that mean that we're not 100% behind the team, or we want Eddie Howe out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've been a Newcastle fan for many, many moons now, and one thing I can say is that the majority of Newcastle United fans are always 100% behind the team. We've seen some very, very dark times at this football club, but the support base has always been there. Yes, a lot of people stayed away because of Mike Ashley, but that wasn't because of the football team. And I know for a fact it killed a lot of people having to give up season tickets and things like that because there was nothing there. People were spending hundreds and thousands of pounds following Newcastle United for a team that did not have any ambition to win anything. You've got to have some sort of ambition to go on that pitch and do well and perform for the shirt. We weren't getting that. Now, I'm not saying that was the players' fault. Of course, we know the ownership was absolutely horrific and a lot of fans just had enough, but that didn't mean that they didn't love the football club. Now, when you see Eddie Howe out, etc., on social media, I believe, like I said, these are fair weather fans. They've jumped on board since the takeover and they expect instant success. Or maybe it's youngsters who haven't seen much of the good times and don't realise how long a process does take. I don't know who these people are. I can only assume that they're just fair weather fans who just think, they've got loads of money, let's go and support Newcastle United because they're bound to win things. It certainly happened in the past with Manchester United, Manchester City, the Liverpools, Arsenals of the world. They will have had their fair weather fans as well. And you can guarantee that there will be fans now claiming to support Newcastle United that supported these clubs when they were winning things. It just happens. And we have to accept that. What I don't want to see at St James's Park, and I've said this many times on shows, is loads of fans just turning up for a tourism purpose. They're taking photos of the ground and taking photos of players when they score goals and things like that. Because I don't want that to happen. I want St James's Park to stay the same. Fans going crazy when we score. Just keep the phones away. Just enjoy your match day experience. Because it's spoiling things. Sitting there with your phone all through the game, it's just not how football should be. Now, going back to the fact of, are we expecting too much? Remember what me and Dad said at the very start of the takeover, was that it was going to be a slow and steady process. And we all took that on board. Nothing was expected too quickly. We knew that there was a lot to do behind the scenes because of the way Mike Ashley had left the club, etc. So we knew that it was going to be a steady process. And Eddie Howe got us playing decent football, got us to finish 11th, and relegation was a distant memory. Any relegation struggle had gone. We were in a new sort of position now, and when we beat Arsenal on that last home game of that season, when they came around and did the lap of honour, it was great to see the owners on the pitch and the players. Everything seemed like it was coming together. The club was being given back to the fans. The fans felt involved with the club, and that's how it should be. That's how I've always known it before Mike Ashley came in as well. So, going back to when Sir John Hall was chairman and things like that, whatever you think of him now, he was in with the fans as well. He wanted to do well for the fans. Kevin Keegan wanted to do well for the fans. It was always about the fans, and that's what it is now. But last season, we then performed absolutely incredibly. The belief is there. The morale is there. The confidence is sky high. We're playing some brilliant attacking football. Some fabulous stuff. And I think, looking back, when the dust has settled on this weekend, I think, were we a little bit spoilt last year? from realistic purposes, we went above and beyond, I think, what anybody was expecting. But we finished in the Champions League, okay? And then over this summer, obviously we've brought in some new signings, and we're very excited about those new signings, who, by the way, I still think will be fabulous for Newcastle United. However, because of those signings, because of being in the Champions League, do we as fans instantly expect that team is going to go on the pitch and win every single game? Because I think that's where we are now. I think that's where we are as fans. We need a kind of reality check, and I think we've got that with these 3 defeats. I think we've got that reality check that maybe everybody needs to take a step back and just calm down. Just calm down. Let Eddie Howe do his job. You know, Eddie will be his biggest critic. He will look at himself and say, right, where did I go wrong? And he'll be doing that before he even looks at the players. So he'll be taking time out over this international break to go and study these games and work out where his decisions went wrong. Because he's been heavily criticised for his substitutions against Liverpool and, of course, against Brighton at the weekend. So is he going to go away and think about that? You're damn right he is. Eddie's not a stupid man. Eddie will know that he's made mistakes as well as the players. But Eddie will now turn to the players after he's looked at himself and start questioning them and questioning their belief. Because there is no way that Eddie Howe would have been happy with that lethargic performance on Saturday. It was lacking anything. And that's just not like an Eddie Howe team. So, you know, we're not going to sit here and see Newcastle United playing the same way in the next game. You can guarantee that those guys, whoever goes out as the first 11, will be busting a gut to put things right. And it's at St James's Park, then they go to Milan, and the Champions League starts. So there's some very, very big games coming up. But I also think that we as fans now have to just take that step back and just let them do the work over the next 2 weeks. Let them come back, all the players from international break, work hard in training and put it right. You know, because Eddie will know if Eddie can't put it right, you know, eventually, yes, questions will be asked. But this man has worked miracles for us since coming into the football club. Getting us out of relegation, getting us to qualify for the Champions League, stuff we never thought was possible. Okay? Now, I've said many times that I don't relate to this or look where we've come from anymore because, you know, we are where we are, okay? We have to stop looking back and look forward. Nobody is ever going to forget where we've come from. You know, you wouldn't be a fan if that wasn't the case. But now we're in a very, very different place. And it's up to us as fans to carry the spirit of Newcastle United, if you like. Keep supporting the lads. Now, yes, there is a big difference between criticising a performance of a match to actually hating on players, which we've seen on social media. People have come at me saying, oh, you're going at Dan Burn all the time. I'm only reporting on what I see on the pitch. You know, I go to all the home games, I commentate on all the away games, I'm watching. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm hating Dan Burn, right? Absolutely not. I love Dan Burn. I love his attitude. I think he's fantastic to have around the dressing room. But when you look at players like Dan and you look at others and you think, right, we want to be up with the big boys now, Dan Burn's taken us as far as his ability can go. But that doesn't mean that he can't still be involved in the squad with the amount of games we've got. And certainly having a character like Dan Burn around the dressing room, etc., is wonderful. Because he's got that type of personality. You can see that from the documentary, that he's very well respected in the dressing room and he's a bit of a joker, lets people laugh. We've got to have that in the dressing room as well. We can't just have serious stuff going on all the time. There has to be that downtime. But the players themselves will know that they've let themselves down and let the fans down over the last couple of games. Switching off against Liverpool when we should have put them away. Brighton was a very lethargic performance. There was no energy, no belief really. And that is something that Eddie Howe has always believed in since he's become manager of this football club. He has believed in his players and believed in the intensity that they play at, which wasn't there at Brighton. But that will come. That will come back again. There is no doubt about that. And if it doesn't come, players will be left out. Eddie's not going to make the same mistakes over and over again. You know, he's been accused of maybe playing his favourites. To a degree, I get that. Because, you know, you see certain players getting included all the time. And, you know, is it worth taking that risk so early in the season? You know, I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate there because I believe that certain personnel need to be dropped and certain others need to come in. But at the end of the day, That's just our opinions. Eddie is the manager. And if people want an Eddie Howe out, just don't seem to understand football. Don't understand what the man has done for this football club. The dire straits, we were bottom of the table. And he came in and we finished 11th. We could have been absolutely gone. But he believed in his philosophies. He coaches players. He's a brilliant man manager. You've got all these players coming out praising the way he man manages and his training sessions. And they love it. And they love him. And we're going through a bit of a blip, just like we did last season after Christmas. We went through a bit of a blip, but we put things right. And, I'm very reactive. That's just in my personality. So if I react to a game straight after the game, that is raw. And that is, I guess, what a lot of people like to see. They like to see the proper reaction. But then you look at it a couple of days later and you think, right, now the dust has settled. What can we talk about? Where can we go with this football team? And how do we get behind them? And it's simple. Stop all the crap on social media, tagging players into absolutely ridiculous comments, and just say, look, we've suffered a little bit of a blip. We're not playing well at the minute, but this international break has come at the right time. And then people don't look at Newcastle United fans and say, oh, you're expecting far too much. Because maybe we are. Maybe other fans of other clubs are right. We just expecting that much too quickly because of what happened last season. Last season was brilliant. But there is also no reason why this season can't be brilliant as well. Even if we don't finish in the top 4, we can still have a brilliant season. It's all about steady progress for me. And, I've got no doubt in my mind that the manager knows in his own head who is not going to be good enough moving forward for this football club. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that Eddie Howe will think, right, there is players here who I don't think are going to, be that pivotal to what we need in the future. However, right now, he's got what he's got. And he believes in his players. And the players, if they go on that pitch and let him down, then I would hope that Eddie, after what's happened, will now take stock and think, right, a couple of these maybe need a couple of games out just to reboot and just to, realise that the squad is big now and they're not automatically going to be on the first 11 because that's how it seemed to be last season. Because we got away with injuries at the back and, players were on team sheets straight away. But this time is different. We've got a bigger squad. Whether you believe if certain players are good enough or not, that's by the by. This is where we are. And we have a big squad now. But it really pisses me off when people can't differentiate between criticising an actual performance on the pitch than hating on a player. I'll be honest, and I don't think the likes of Dan Burn are going to be good enough to move forward. But that doesn't mean I'm hating on Dan Burn. It means I love the guy, but his ability will only stretch so far. And that goes for other players as well, not just Dan Burn. We know that eventually these owners are going to want Champions League quality players in every single position on that pitch. But we don't have it right now. So we do have to take stock as fans and we do have to say, right, let's be a bit more realistic as to where we are. We are not going to challenge Man City for the title yet. Man City are still way above where we are. But we want to be there. And that's what we as fans should be excited about, that these owners want to be where Man City are. They want to be number one. But we're not there yet. And we've got a way to go. I think the start of this season has proved that we still have a way to go. But it does not mean that we have a bad manager or bad players who won't take this club forward. They will do their very best. And over the next few transfer windows, we will improve the squad consistently. But I'm not going to shout from the rooftops for Eddie Howe out because I think Eddie Howe is going to be a legend at this football club as a manager. I really genuinely think that. He will turn this round. He's not a stupid man and he will know exactly what needs doing. But he's entitled to make mistakes. It's a learning curve as well for Eddie. He will see these players going on the pitch and maybe not performing as well as he wanted them to or thought they would. But that's for Eddie to deal with behind the scenes. Very much so. But I felt like I had to do this video today because I want people to know that certainly this channel is 1,000% behind Eddie Howe, 1,000% behind the players. But what we will do is we won't bullrot anybody and say, when we're doing match reviews, and say, oh, this player did, well, we did all right, we did this, we did that. If we play badly, we will say we played badly. And you've seen on the match review shows, it gets a bit heated at times. But that's just all about discussion and passion for your football club. It's passion. And Newcastle United fans have always been known for that passion. And that is not going to be taken away from this channel. Absolutely not. We are passionate, very, very passionate football fans of Newcastle United. Bleed black and white, and that will always be the case. But just because we do match reviews and criticise players, we are not on the bandwagon of Eddie Howe out or XYZ, whatever it may be. We support the players, we support Eddie Howe, and we know he will get it right. I've got no doubts about Eddie Howe at all. And I just hope you guys out there watching feel the same, and we get behind the team in 2 weeks' time against Brentford. Get through this blip together as a fan base. Now, you're always going to get the fans who think they know better and are going to type out, well, I want Eddie Howe out, I want him out, I want this out. But like I say, I'm very reactionary, and I did react, and I do react after matches. But I think people like that. They like the passion. Whether I'm right or wrong in what I'm saying, people still like the passion. They like to see that. They don't just want people sitting there going, well, we did all right here, we did all right there, and hopefully we'll come back better next time. That's not how I operate, and it's not how the guys, the other hosts operate on the channel. We are very passionate, and when I do the instant reactions, it is literally straight out of the ground and it is a raw reaction. But I genuinely believe people would rather see a raw reaction, whether I'm right or wrong, than somebody sitting in front of a camera just saying, just sugarcoating everything. What's the point of that? If you're going to sugarcoat everything, you may as well not do anything, because that doesn't create conversation either. And that's what it's all about. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think we are expecting a little bit too much too soon? I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure you guys out there will feel that you've been guilty of that in the last few months in the build-up to this season. But now is it the time just to take a step back, realise where we are. We've still got a hell of a way to go to get up to the Man Cities, etc. But it's going to be a fantastic journey to get there. There will be some ups and downs. Of course there will. But the journey itself is going to be fabulous, and I can't wait for it. So let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Or do you think that, things are okay? Or do you think things are really bad? Do you think there is a real problem at Newcastle United at the moment? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching this on the Monday, we do have a brand new show starting tonight at 7 o'clock. Basically, we are going to invite people on. It's not a fan forum as such, because you're going to come on your own. You've got 5 or 6 minutes with us to chat what you want to get off your chest about Newcastle United. Then we say goodbye and we bring the next person on. So you get like 5 or 6 minutes with us, then the next person. We're not bringing everybody on together. It's going to be a fabulous show because we're going to get some real feedback from you guys out there. That's what it's all about, interacting with us. So keep an eye out for the link. If you want to come on for your 5 minutes say, please do. And then we'll get as many people as we can on during the show. You can talk about Newcastle United, where your worries or where your beliefs are. But it should be a fabulous show from 7 o'clock tonight. So don't forget to join us for that. But in the meantime, if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Very important that we keep them coming on the channel. And of course, if you're new, hit that subscribe button, completely free to do so. And also that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any videos in the future. But in the meantime, enjoy the sweltering heat, guys, of this Monday, and we'll see you tonight. Take care.